Everyone tells me I need to do a self-portrait. So this is a picture of myself on my computer. And I have chosen some colors that I think might be appropriate for my skin tones. I found that raw sienna and cadmium red light might mix together better for the warm tones. And then cobalt blue and perhaps light turquoise might be good for the, or cerulean blue. I just don't have that on my palette. Might be good for the cool colors in my face. Then I've sketched it. I hope I have the sketch accurate, but never sure. And I will begin with using a large brush. I will wet the surface so that the initial colors will flow nicely. and they will be pale because I don't want to overdo it or give myself a tan right off the bat. Now I'm mixing a bit of raw sienna and some cadmium red light. Ooh, that's a little dark. Raw sienna is a little more opaque than the quinacridone gold. So I'm going to loosely let that flow into my skin tones. Actually, because the eyes are in shadow, I'm going to just cover those a bit also. Now, I start most of my paintings with this large, flat brush. I like the length of the bristles. I can load it with lots of color and lots of water, and it flows nicely. One of the other brushes I would use as a soft brush is a mop. And these squirrel mops really do add colors and highlights nicely. I can go into the cheek areas with a little color, and while the wash is wet, these colors flow really well. And they'll fade out a bit. I'm not worried about getting too much on right now and having it look ugly. And besides, I don't do formal portraits of anyone, so I like to call them character studies. That's the only reason that I'm doing my self-portrait, because I have a few wrinkles now, and I don't mind showing them off. I do mind, but I'm going to pretend I don't. Then in the eye areas where it's cooler in shadow, I can add a little bit of that turquoise light to deepen the tones there. And along the shaded side of the nose, and even underneath the nose. And see how nicely those flow. This can always be corrected, as long as you don't get it too dark. These can always be corrected by lifting a little color later. But I try to keep it as clean as possible. And because I'm blonde, I'm not going to worry about my hair color just yet. I'd rather just leave the the highlights white for now. It's not quite pink enough here. A little more rosy in my cheeks. And see, I can add this. I don't mind that it's running, so you should never be afraid of that. Because it's better to have fewer brush strokes show and let the colors run together by themselves, and it's much more natural look to the skin. I'm getting blobs of color because I'm not blotting my brush enough. You should, especially with these mops, when you dip them in water and in pigment, blot them slightly before you put it on the paper so that you don't get blobs like I was getting. Add a little more pink to the tone here. And that's my beginning.